Alright, so I had to make this video. A subscriber told me about it. And I was actually upset because I really like Styxhexenhammer. I think he's really funny. I think he's informed and very intelligent. He's not always right about stuff. And, you know, I'm not going to always, like, comment on stuff that people's wrong about, because I'm wrong about stuff too. But I don't have the audacity to make a full video criticizing people about something I know nothing about. And all he had was a slew of ad hominem attacks and gross stereotypes that he heard, that he thought what anti-vaxxers were. And it was really disappointing because I know he's smarter than that. And I think this is a common like situation with intelligent people. Ben Shapiro's like that too. Ben Shapiro talks smack about anti-vaxxers, and I kind of understand his point his view a little bit more, because his wife's a doctor, and I do have sympathy for people in the medical profession and doctors that have given their lives to save people. And I think that they, you know, most of them do mean well, but their curriculum is influenced by the pharmaceutical industry. So they're basically brainwashed by the pharmaceutical industry. They're told what to teach, the pharmaceutical industry writes, you know, curriculum for them. They give money to the schools. They don't allow them to talk about nutrition and sanitation as a way of really eradicating diseases. It's all about medicine, pills, and vaccines, and because they profit off of it. So it's a lot of the doctors, and there are a lot now, by the way, physicians for informed consent, you guys should check that out. There are a lot of doctors and scientists who are now questioning the safety and efficacy of vaccines. And what they say is that all they were taught in medical school was the schedule and the fact that they save lives. You know, so it's a mantra that we hear over and over again. Vaccines save lives. Vaccine saves lives. Vaccines save lives, right? Okay, so let me ask you this. Human beings have been on the earth about 200,000 years. Vaccines have only been around, the Jenner-style vaccine has only been around for about 200 years. How do we survive before that? How are we all not dead? Okay? You know, it's the things that we know about vaccines is because of the sound bites we've heard. You know, I would even go as far as to say, even the information that we know about polio and smallpox, as far as the vaccine eradicating it, they're all lies. Okay, if you want to go into smallpox, you should, guys, look up the town of research, Leicester, England. It's spelled Leister. I'll just put it in the links, okay? I'll put everything that I talk about in the links, okay? Unlike people that want to make ad hominem attacks and just, you know, make fun of people, I'm gonna back up what I say with research, at least where you can at least start researching some links and some stuff. I'm not just like pulling stuff out of thin air. All right, so yeah, I think that, like, I was really upset. Like I said, I just don't think that you know, just because you're intelligent in one area, that you're intelligent in other areas. And like I said, a lot of intelligent people make this mistake where they think they know a lot about this, and everybody praises them. They're like, oh my God, they're so smart, they know this. And then they think they can go, you're like Bill Gates, you know, he's good at computers supposedly, but he doesn't know shit about vaccines. In fact, he profits off of it. In fact, his foundation has been caught many times putting a hormone called HCG in vaccines. Now, maybe one time you can be like, oh, that's a bad batch, but at least 7 countries now have found that hormone. That what happens is when you mix it with an adjuvant and the other chemicals in the vaccine and you inject it into somebody, when the person gets pregnant, they spontaneously abort. They it gives them a miscarriage. Okay, so this is a way of sterilizing people, and it's not, you know, people also think that just because you're a genius or you're intelligent that it equals benevolence, but it doesn't. So I mean, the government is in collusion with the pharmaceutical industries, right? So a lot of the funding that people get from TV, television shows, is run by the pharmaceutical. They're funded by the pharmaceutical industry. So you think that they're going to allow people to talk bad about their product, that they're profiting, that they're making billions off of, right? Billions. Vaccines make billions, and not only that, you can yeah, I mean, you cannot sue the pharmaceutical industry. So you hear about these lawsuits that pharmaceutical industries get sued for, but they can get sued for medicine, for pills and stuff like that, not vaccines, because vaccines is considered a biologic. They did find a loophole for the Zostavax vaccine, which actually is for herpes, and it's actually giving people the shingles. I mean, sorry, the shingles vaccine is actually giving people the shingles. But for all the other vaccines and stuff, you have to go through a vaccine court, which we the taxpayers pay for. We pay 75 cents for each vaccine. It goes into a fund, and it's really hard to win those cases. A lot of times you have to have a doctor vouch for you. Most of them won't, because either A, they're scared, or they're brainwashed and they're just in denial that the vaccine caused it, even though the parent can most likely document that their child was normal before with videos and pictures and stuff. And then if you do get a doctor that's, you know, lucky enough to vouch for you, it's just like they call it like a mediation format. There's no trial, there's no evidence, jury. It's not like a regular court, it's like a kangaroo court, right? So, and even with the people that were able to win, there's been at least, last time I checked, is about $4 billion paid out for injuries of vaccines, anything from not just autism, but paralysis, you know, death, brain damage, SIDS, all this stuff. Most people win for the flu shot, and I think that's a little bit easier to prove because you know, a lot of the people that get compensation for the flu shot, they're already older, and you know, you can't psych the parent out and say like, oh, the child was born this way, or they were too small. Like, they have lots and lots and lots of evidence that they were a normal person up until the time they got the shot. So, I mean, you're talking about African nations begging for vaccinations. No, they're really not. And in fact, I'm going to put some links in the bottom that talks about how they knew that that they were being damaged by vaccines. There's some people that have, the whistleblowers in Africa, that have come out and said that vaccines have been maiming their people, and they, you know, refused vaccinations, and they had to actually go out and hide because they were mandating vaccinations on the people that figured out that vaccines were maiming them. So, I don't know, I wrote notes, but maybe I'll just rant. Herd immunity, dude, I'm sorry. Okay, common sense. If you're vaccinated and vaccines work, why do you worry about anti-vaxxers causing an outbreak, right? So the immunocompromised people, it's like, I don't know, 1% of people that can get that can't get vaccinated, right? So even if vaccines work, everybody that's vaccinated, which is the majority of people, if an outbreak happens, the people that are vaccinated should be okay. So how are the anti-vaxxers giving them vaccines? Okay, and then if vaccines are so great, how come even immunocompromised people can't get them? What happened to them? They can't get, you know, it's ridiculous. So, I mean, just common sense. Well, I just think that you're just going off of sound bites that you heard because you have no evidence. You just, you know, think we're all hippies. You're not aware of the fact that most people that are, or the current movement that started, I think it's very diverse. But, you know, most of the people are highly educated. A lot of people are in the medical industry. There's some people that make vaccines, like the DA of San Antonio came out, maybe it was a couple years ago, and said that vaccines cause his son autism. He has a friend that's a scientist from work that makes vaccines, has 4 kids, and none of his kids are vaccinated. So I'm saying the scientist that actually makes the vaccines knows what's in them, knows how they react, knows that there have never been like long-term studies of all the ingredients, okay, and doesn't vaccinate his own kids, but he makes them. Why, you know, there's been no vax versus unvaxxed studies properly. Now, in improper studies, the unvaccinated, whether it's animals or children, they always come out healthier than the vaccinated people, or animals. Yeah, they always come out healthier, okay? So they had no long-term studies on the whole vaccine schedule, right? A lot of the trial period, I think, like for one of the Hep B patents, it was only like a 4-day trial. So you know, people assume that these vaccines are, you know, they have long trial periods, and you know, the studies that have been done, they'll use another vaccine as a placebo. They don't use saline, okay? So I mean, it's just this whole like thing where I think that you just need to do more research before you outright criticize people and call them morons. And I understand that you know, Styx doesn't know what he's talking about, but he doesn't have to be a dick about it, okay? He's talking about me. He's talking about my friends. He's talking about people I know and love that did vaccinate, and now their lives and their families are destroyed for generations, by the way, generations. So, herd immunity, if you want to know a little bit about that, it was first coined by a guy named A.W. Hedrich, and he was an epidemiologist that studied measles in the 1930s and discovered it was natural immunity that made people immune from the measles, not vaccine-induced immunity. In fact, when the measles vaccine came out in the 60s, and they thought it was only going to be one shot and it was done. But what they found out years later, that the titer system, which they measure the like how somebody is immune to a disease, they waned, and leaving the whole population exposed, and nobody caught. There were no outbreaks or anything that happened. And now this is why you have to get booster shots. So you get the booster shots, and each time they found out with each booster shot, the antibodies wane even more and more. Whereas people that get measles naturally, they are immune for life, and they don't pass it on to other people. In fact, vaccinated mothers do not express and pass the antibodies on through their breast milk. So vaccines are actually causing a huge problem with the immunity and the herd immunity. It's natural immunity that causes or that keeps people safe, not vaccine-induced immunity. You also might want to look at vaccine shedding. I know you might know it's a myth, or you think it's a myth, okay? But you look at inserts, they say that vaccines can shed for up to a few weeks. There have been studies where they found shedding in people's urine and their feces. There is a BBC article where a man got the polio vaccine and shed it for 30 years, okay? There is the inpatient papers for people that have cancer says if you've been vaccinated with the vaccine, with the live virus vaccine, that you are not to come into the hospital because you can affect the people that are immunocompromised, whether it's somebody that had cancer or AIDS or some person that has an immune system that cannot fight disease off because they know that it sheds. So all of these outbreaks that people are like scared about, they're all manufactured because they realize that the anti-vax movement is having an impact. So let me just ask you this one question. If, we're just so stupid and we're just morons and we're just spouting nonsense, why are we on the global threat list? Why can't people use their science and their words to, and their evidence to outwit us? Oh no, because there isn't any, that's why. And each day, new anti or ex-vaxxers are being created because people are vaccinating their kids and they're getting injured. So then they go to, various sites and they collaborate with other parents and other people that are vaccine injured, and they learn about the vaccine injury compensation program, and they learn that there are no studies done on these, vaccines, and they learn about, that there are lies about polio and smallpox, and, and then there are other people too that, there's SIDS and autoimmune diseases, and they learn about all the other doctors, and they learn about the Corvelva study, which was a hexavalent vaccine, which means there were 6 viruses in it. They studied it, right? This is independent of the stuff that you can read from the vaccine inserts, but they actually found that there weren't even any antigens, which were the diseases that you're supposed to put in the vaccine to make the people immune. There weren't even any antigens in the vaccines, and they found proteins that are even unidentifiable. So they're like, what the hell is in here, okay? So people are starting to find this out, right? The internet's great. People might want to complain about, the internet, there's too much information, but it's wonderful. You know why? Because now we're at an age and day and age where we can research stuff and then we can send it to each other. We don't have to go to the library and look up microfiche. Okay, or it's information is rapidly spread. So now we're just not we're not in the era where we just have to take somebody's word for it. We can actually research stuff ourselves, and doctors can upload their lectures on YouTube, and they can publish their papers on PubMed and online. There's lots of evidence on PubMed and credible institutions that question the safety and efficacy of vaccines. And I just think that I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. And somebody, I read the comments, somebody said, oh, they got him. I don't think that they got him. I just think that, I think he just jumped the gun and was, you know, didn't know what the fuck he was talking about, but just assumed he was, because, you know, everybody just assumes anti-vaxxers was crazy. But the good thing I want to say is I think that the like to dislike ratio was great. It was great. And not only, you know, he's in denial of it because he thinks that they're all bots, but okay, whatever. I wonder if he lost any subscribers and patrons because of that as well, you know? Just throwing people's kids and vaccine-injured families under the bus, dude, like, you should know better. Like, you know, you should at least have some compassion. I still have compassion for people that are pro-vaccine because, like I said, I understand why it's hard to believe, right? You think that, you know, now we know how much since this election that the government lies to us. You think that they, you know, just started lying to us in 2016? You don't think that they were lying before that? They've been lying way before that. But we have the internet now, and we can call them on their bullshit. You know, just like I'm making this video and calling you on your bullshit. I know he's better than that. I hope that he does research. I hope that he doesn't, you know, let his ego like make him look like a dumbass. And I really hope that he reflects and looks into what, you know, why people are become anti-vaccine, because most people are pro-vaccine until they have a bad experience. But like I said, the like to dislike ratio was awesome because it goes to show how many people are waking up about this issue. And yeah, I mean, I really think that we are winning. We're at a tipping point now, to the point where the World Health Organization says that we're a threat, but all we're doing is just spreading information. So you're just saying, what are they saying? People are too stupid to figure, this out, to figure, you know, to look at both sides and make a decision. Because I'm not advocating people, you know, that are pro-vaccine take down their information or trying to stop them. I'm just like, look, here's the information on the other side. Look at both sides. I've looked at both sides because I was on the pro-vax side, and now I'm looking at this side because I had a personal experience and I did research, and I understand how, you know, the media manipulates everything. I understand how the pharmaceutical industry is like outspins the oil lobby 2-to-1 now. People think it's oil. They ain't got nothing on big pharma. Nothing. Okay, it's the pharmaceutical industry and how deep that runs, you know, and how they pay out politicians and how they pay, you know, people to make, you know, fake, you know, outbreak, you know, scares and stuff like that. Really, measles? You're scared? You guys are scared of measles? Like, measles never left. Oh my God, it was always here. You guys are tripping. Jesus. But anyway, I just wanted to say that, like I said, I hope that, you know, I hope that he realizes, I hope he like reflects and thinks about how fucking wrong he was and what a dumbass he sounded like, and chooses to educate himself. Yeah. All right. So that's it. I'm driving right now. I'll put in the links probably tomorrow or tonight when I get home. I'm gonna try and upload this right now, and I want to maybe ask my subscribers too, because I know you guys are smart, to please post some links about some of the stuff that I just mentioned in the comment section, because I know there are people that, you know, want to know, and I think, you know, people that are really, you know, staunchly pro-vaccine, I'm not really trying to reach those people because they're, you know, they're gonna die by their ego anyway. So I'm really, you know, trying to reach people that are open and that want to listen, and, you know, kind of like in the middle. So, and I'm, you know, I'm not using shaming tactics, you know, I'm going to use evidence and, you know, anecdotal stories, and that's fine because they, you know, they show us pictures of smallpox people and the staged polio picture of the people in the iron lungs. Yes, it was staged. And they're like, get vaccines, you're going to end up like this. So for people to be authentic about their children and their families that were destroyed and show pictures and videos of them, I have no problem with that because that's the truth. Okay, so you can do that, or, you know, websites, articles, anything. I'm asking you guys to help me out here, because anytime I do a video on vaccines, I get crazy trolls, and I don't want to have to moderate the comments. But I really want to leave it open for people that are curious and interested and want to dig deeper. All right, guys. Okay, guys, that's it. I'm about to go to work. Yay, money. All right, peace and love, you guys. Bye-bye.